Welcome back to ChemCon TV. Today we have the following in store for you. Highlights of the social event, including breaking news on the location of ChemCon Europe 2025. We have an interview with investors on investment in sustainable growth and a statement on sustainable finance. But first, some sound bites from our Sustainable Wednesday sessions.
Today's morning session focused on strategies for sustainability in the EU. We heard detailed discussions of key aspects such as funding, innovation, substitution, but also about formal requirements on reporting and due diligence. For me, most important were the comparisons of the objectives of the previous Green Deal with the Clean Industrial Deal of the new Commission. What we heard were comparisons of requirements and particularly of emerging objectives and requirements for further actions. In essence, industry will have quite a few opportunities, but there are also remaining substantial burdens. The key problem will be to make all this work.
So we just finished the session on technological developments to support sustainability innovation, where we heard a lot about digital tools, the digitalization and the use of blockchain to support data exchange along the value chain, looking also on policy initiatives like the Co-Design for Sustainable Product Regulation and how the digital product passport can assist on this very important task on sharing information on safety of the chemicals along the value chain. We also have learned about the power of the use of artificial intelligence to not only assist in the filling of safety data sheets, but also on the development of safer materials.
Time to connect with our local reporter. Hi Arturos, yesterday was very eventful. What do you like to share with us today?
Yes, indeed. Yesterday, our delegates enjoyed a fine reception in the Harvard Club of Boston. In the Harvard Club of Boston, our delegates enjoyed a relaxing networking evening. The Harvard Club of Boston has a rich history dating back to its founding in 1908, with many milestones. Like during World War I and II, the club served as lodging and a support center for military officers. And in 1971, women were welcomed as full and active members for the first time, reflecting broader societal changes and Harvard University's transition to co-education. Another milestone yesterday was the announcement of the location of ChemCon Europe 2025.
Yesterday was wicked wonderful. Correct, Arturas?
Yes, and today I want to immerse you in the wicked wonderful world of words here in Boston. For that, let's go to the Boston Public Library. There's no model of that here, so let's go via Trinity Church right across the street. Let's go. It's maybe good to explain some of Boston's words. Wicked. You might think this town has an obsession with witches or the Wizard of Oz, but it's just an intensifier like very or really. Example, that chowder was wicked good. Tourists might hear and see it everywhere. I promise you, in this city, wicked is usually a positive thing. Okay, have you ever wondered what that was short for? That was actually a Bostonian slang from the early 1800s, where elites of the city like to misabbreviate phrases in order for the less well-to-do and poorer classes to not understand what elites were talking about. The T. We're not talking about leaves for hot water here. The Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority, or MBTA, runs all the buses, boats, and trains around Boston. But people here really value their time, so we say T instead of MBTA.
Thanks, we also value our time, and time is money. In today's interview with Alexandra McPherson and Caroline Boden, we focused on investment in sustainable growth. Caroline, you once said to me, it feels like talking to a brick wall since companies are not ready to invest or transform. What advice would you give those companies that are looking to start their journey towards sustainable growth and a need for investors like yourself?
I would say start small, start anywhere. I think in our engagement with various portfolio companies, especially on chemical management, it's very clear that this is a journey, and again, we want to see that continuous progress from them. So I would encourage companies, whether it's on safer chemicals, whether it's climate, other issues, is to, I think, sort of first and foremost, conduct ideally a double materiality assessment, so to understand the material risks to their own business, whether it's from climate change, biodiversity loss, the use of chemicals of concern, and then also what are those salient risks, that double materiality, where what are the impacts from their business and operations on people and planet. And once you have that assessment and that understanding, you can take that information, you can take that data to establish policy commitments and set priorities, but you have to start somewhere. And so I think initially you have to do that data collection process, you have to evaluate internally, you have to reflect, and then you can move forward from there. A couple other pieces of advice I would have is there are tremendous organizations out there, whether it's in civil society space, NGOs, investment community, other stakeholders who I think have really deep expertise on these different issues. Certainly as an investment organization, we have relied on folks like Clean Production Action and ChemSec and others to help inform us in our investment decisions around hazardous chemicals. Those same groups can be a resource to companies. So I encourage businesses to look for those types of partners, stakeholders who can provide them guidance, scientific data and expertise, and can also provide tools and resources to help them along that journey. Whether it's things like the Chemical Footprint Project or ChemSec's ChemScore, different benchmarking standards, all of those tools can help them get to where they want to go. But so my first advice is, I think don't be afraid, and you have to start somewhere and understand that it will be an ongoing journey, and you're not going to reach the end goal right away, but you have to start somewhere.
Okay, thank you very much. Ellie, some extra suggestions for the journey?
I think just building on what Caroline just said, I mean, it's about education, training. They don't have to they don't have to invent the process. So many leaders have already created good practice, best practice. Many of the companies we work with that are in that leadership realm that Caroline mentioned are willing to get on the phone and talk to other companies, help them take the first step. To me, the first step is the hardest, because it's a high-risk step, and the culture isn't there within the company to understand the value, and that first step needs to be like a win for the company. So you want to take a small step, but also a step that they really see a viable solution, and I think that will really help create the momentum. And we work with companies at every stage of the journey, and we are seeing companies jump on board faster when they see their peers do it, when they see that they might be, at the low end of a benchmark that people care about, and hopefully that will all encourage more confidence to take this issue on.
Please watch the complete interview on our YouTube channel. After this interview showing 50 shades of green in relation to investment in sustainable growth, I have a question for our local reporter. Arturas, I heard Boston has a famous green monster?
The monster? The giant green monster is nothing to fear. It's a reference to Fenway Park, America's oldest baseball stadium. It's where the Red Sox play. Let's go there now. Oh, the Red Sox season hasn't started yet. Let's go somewhere with a bit more action. Stepping into TD Garden on a night like tonight is wicked awesome. The air is buzzing with excitement and anticipation. You can see the sea of green, many fans rushing into the arena, ready to chant and fight for a Celtics victory. This energy is electric. And you can feel the collective heartbeat of the crowd as they cheer for their beloved team. The Celtics players move with precision and agility, executing plays that leave the crowd in awe. Every dunk is met with thunderous applause, and every defensive block is celebrated.
Yeah, okay, that was not inside TD Garden, but inside TJ Garden. It was my backyard with my kids. There's no place like home games. We transformed our backyard during COVID. It was one of my better investments. In today's statement of the day, we will discuss needs of investors with Sonja Heider of Chemsec. Sonja, welcome.
Thank you very much, Sjoerd, for having me.
Sonja, investors are increasingly recognizing the importance of chemicals. Can you tell us more about this?
Well, I'm just arriving from Washington, where I presented the topic of chemicals in front of institutional investors. And those are long-term investors, like pension funds, and they have to secure their funds to pay out the pension after decades. So they are looking increasingly into the topic of financial risks due to hazardous chemicals, but also into the opportunities for future markets.
And your statement is?
Investors are pushing for safer chemicals, backing innovation and future leaders.
Sonja, thank you very much. Before going to the forecast, Arturas, do you have another Boston bite you want to share?
Yes, I'm at the original Dunkies, which is what we call our favorite pit stop location when the sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and the joy of youth is in our eyes. It's going to be our location for the next treat. You shouldn't have to go too far. There are over 200 locations just in Boston.
My all-time favorite is the Boston Cream Donut.
Well, I have one here for you.
Thanks. This will get me started, and that is needed since we have two parallel programs today, our regular program and our roundtable discussions in our forum. Before I forget, here is yesterday's evening announcement on the location of ChemCon Europe 2025. We already know the focus for October, now the focus of today, where in our new Inspire Investment in Sustainable Growth forum, we have roundtable discussions on best practices and benchmarks of sustainable approaches in industry, investment and innovation opportunities, and the key drivers to create a sustainability and investment roadmap. On day 3 of the main program of ChemCon the Americas 2025, we will focus on developments in the Asia-Pacific region, followed by a session on global approach to data, notifications and hazard communication. In the afternoon, a session on risk assessment, including grouping as an effective chemicals management tool. And after that, we regroup all delegates for a session packed with European updates. The chemical industry package, including the REACH revision, EU CLP, UK REACH and Turkish KKDIC. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.